Hey friends, my name's Christy. Welcome back to Stronger Every Day. So today we're going to talk about a subject that's a little tougher to listen to. So if you're not in a place where you can listen to this, then I would choose to skip this video, although the title will let you know what it's about. But I would encourage you, if you're in a place where it's hard, maybe this is the video for you to listen to. And that is how to deal with suicidal thoughts. I've been pretty open and talked in detail that I've struggled with depression for 27 and a half years, and anxiety continues, so coming up on 30 years. What I know is this: throughout that time, there's been good moments, there's been even moments, there's been bad moments, and there's been horrific moments. I know enough now to know that the bad times are not going to last forever. That's different for all of us. Sometimes it's a couple hours, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's years. What I know is this: had I made the decision, or had it been successful in the decisions I made throughout that 27 and a half years, so many beautiful, wonderful things I would have missed in life that I'm glad God kept me here for. I encourage you, if you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, wait. Wait 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, wait 10 minutes. Whatever you need to do to wait until your mind shifts. Feelings and emotions change. We know this. Deep down, we know this. Our emotions change, our feelings change, what we're going through changes. For me, it feels like on the daily. The darkness of mental illness changes. There's periods where we are under the pit, right? There's periods where we're in the pit. There are periods where we're on the way from it, or on the way to it, or when we're level, or when we're happy. All of these things change in us. If we can just hold on, if we can just hold on a little bit longer, it's going to change for the better, and there's going to be better moments. And I understand that there's circumstances of treatment-resistant depression where nothing helps, but I think we hear that term and we say, well, that's me, and that's what's wrong, and we give up hope of trying to get better. And you can give up a lot of things, but one thing I would never give up on is my relationship with God and hope. There's many a times I have woken up and thought, God, why am I still here? Why did you let me survive the night? Why did you let me survive the attempt? Why did you leave me here knowing how miserable and how much I hate being here? There's been times that I have questioned, why am I even here? I don't contribute to anything. I clearly just make everything worse for everybody. We all know what those thoughts and feelings are like. What I would encourage is this: wait, first and foremost. Reach out to someone, reach out to friends, reach out to family. If you don't have anybody like that, we're going to talk about instances in a minute. Reach out to someone that you trust. Reach out to someone and let them know that you are struggling, and be honest with where you are in the struggle. What I tended to do, and what I still tend to do, is withdraw. And sometimes that it's important. Jesus withdrew into the wilderness to be close to his Father. There's times that's important for me to get silent and only hear God's voice. But if you're not hearing God's voice and you're hearing all the crap and the lies of the devil, then it's not good for us to withdraw. Contact a friend, contact a family member, reach out to them. It's vulnerable. You feel very vulnerable. You feel like you're going to get judged, and you may. You feel very emotional. You feel like people are going to think horrible things about you. People are going to feel like you can't handle life and you can't handle anything, and that you're all the things that the devil puts in your mind. But what I've realized is when I'm in that place, it's crucial to shut those thoughts out and reach out to someone that I trust. If you can, take a day or two or a week off work and away from the majority of your responsibilities. I know we can't all do that. I know we can't all just take time off work and still don't have other responsibilities. I get that. Life is stressful. We have a lot of things going on. If you're a parent, you can't just quit being a parent for a week, right? If you don't have personal time or you don't have any time off, sometimes you have to try to make it till your off days. I know it's a struggle. I know it's hard. I'm saying try. Talk to your boss. Maybe if you have a boss that you feel is understanding, talk to your boss and say, I need a day or two. If you don't have any time that you can take, maybe it's a half a day. Maybe it's a half a day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever your off days are. If you're off Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe take half a day Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, just to get you a little extra time to recoup. Maybe if you are lucky enough to have a job where you're off on holidays, maybe it's take an extended weekend. So we've got Memorial Day, Labor Day. I don't know about 4th of July if it's on a Monday or Friday this week, but maybe take Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off if you have a job that is lined up like that. Take some time and try to just spend it with God. Another thing is, I hear a lot of people say, I don't have anyone that I feel like I can reach out to. Talk to a professional. If you can't afford to go to counseling, and understand that it takes time to get into a counselor and it costs money to get into a counselor. If you don't have either one of those options available, dial or text *988. We've talked about, that's the suicide hotline. They can talk with you. It's free of charge and they can help you. They can lead you to resources that are maybe low cost or no cost. Or if you just need somebody to talk to for that moment, just to help get things out. A lot of times we just try to keep it all trapped in. We don't want to get it out, and that's detrimental to us. So it's good to get those things off our chest and out, just into the environment, even if it's journaling. If that helps you, if journaling, just getting it out of the inside onto paper or talking to another person. Don't drink and do drugs. That's two of the worst things you can do when you're struggling with suicidal thoughts. It doesn't make you feel better. It numbs it temporarily and it makes it worse on the back end. I can tell you this from experience. I've not done drugs, but drinking heavily a lot. And while it did numb it temporarily, it made the mental illness worse. It made the anxiety worse, the depression worse. And then it was just a vicious cycle of it. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. If you're tempted, I would definitely stay out of restaurants, bars, stay away from sources that have those drugs. Stay away from anywhere you can be tempted. If yours is a sexual addiction, stay away from that. Drugs and alcohol, the only thing that does is it's a very weak attempt to numb the pain, because we want the pain to go away. And while it does temporarily numb it, it makes it worse on the back end. Especially, it makes it worse, period. But if you're taking medicine for any kind of mental illness, some things that aren't even mental illness, drugs and alcohol are terrible ideas when you mix those together. Try not to be by yourself. We've talked about this. If you need to withdraw for a minute just to try to hear God's voice, then withdraw for a minute. But don't withdraw long term, because you need that time with God. So I would encourage you, if you're going to withdraw, make it short periods of time and then reach out to a friend. Do something, anything that helps you relax. Maybe that's something that makes you smile or makes you happy, makes you laugh. Whether that's watching a funny movie, reading a book you enjoy, listening to music that's upbeat and happy. Maybe that's lighting a candle or having some self-time, running a bath or running or working out or gardening, playing an instrument, whatever that might look like for you. Anything and everything that will make you smile, make you laugh. It's amazing what laughter and a smile can do to help your mood. Get rid of extra pills, get rid of weapons, get rid of anything that's a potential thing of while you're laying there thinking bad thoughts, that if I just reached over and took a handful of those, or if I just took that weapon and ended things now, or if I just drove to my favorite overlook and jumped, or if I just threw my, whatever that looks like. Keep in mind, wait is the first thing we talked about. Wait. I'll even use a silly example here. I have been watching what I eat off and on for the past, since June of 2022, but even harder since January of this year. And there's times that I will crave something sweet. If I keep thinking about that long enough, because we don't keep it in the house, so I would have to get in the car and drive to go get it. If I keep thinking about that long enough, I will get in the car and drive and go get whatever sweet thing I'm craving to eat. But if I think about it and then maybe drink a glass of water, or if I think about it and then maybe get up and do something and break the thought process, more times than not, far more than not, I decide I don't even want that. It's going to make me feel terrible anyway. For me, sweets are not great. I have arthritis. It causes inflammation. All sweet things, all sugar cause inflammation and make it worse. And so I try to steer clear of sweet things in general. And there's times I'm just really craving something. But what I've learned is when I just steer clear of those, it's just better for me. It's better for me mentally, physically, all the things. Pray. We've talked about this. When you're starting to feel bad, have a plan in place. Pray, run to God, seek Him, read His Word. If you're too, I know that there's times where you're just like, I can't get out of bed. Right? There's no way I can concentrate long enough to read a verse of the Bible. Listen to the Bible being taught. Listen to praise and worship music. Turn on your favorite preacher, your favorite teacher, whoever that is. Listen to them. Even if you're in and out, even if you're just they're like kind of background music. Have something positive going on there. Pray and listen for God to help you. Ask friends and family to pray for you. We talked about that, reaching out to somebody. Most of the time, those people aren't going to be able to fix the problem, but it's getting it out to somebody, getting it off your chest, and the support that you can receive from others. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's a big one. We don't want anyone to know that we're struggling because we're afraid we're going to be judged. And so rather than ask for help, we try to deal with it on our own. And for me, for Chrissy, what that did was make the depression worse. The depression lasts longer. It didn't help in any way, shape, or form. It made me feel shame and judgment and criticism and isolated. It made me feel alone. It made me feel like nobody was going through what I'm going through, that nobody understood what I was going through, that I was the only person dealing with this particular set of issues. Here's the thing. I don't know a person in my life right now whose life is not hard. Not any of the people I know that I talk to on a semi-regular basis, does their life look easy? And is their life easy right now? It's not just me. It's not just you. There are people who are going through horrible times. It never ceases to amaze me what a smile and a "I'm fine" will do. Most of the time, people don't even really want to hear your response. That's what they want to hear, is "I'm fine." And so we have learned that no matter what, we say, "Hey, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine. How about you? Good? You're fine? Good. And we keep going. It amazes me what a smile and a "I'm fine" will do. I've only been called out on that one time, and that was my supervisor. I was walking down the hallway. This wasn't long after Nick's diagnosis. And she said, "How you doing?" And I said, I'm fine. And she said, "No, you're not." And she said, "But I'm praying for you." And I smiled and she smiled because we both knew, that she knew I wasn't fine. And she knew at that moment that maybe I didn't want to talk about it. And so she offered her support. I'm praying for you. I love you and I'm praying for you. And that is the only time I've ever been called out on that. what I would say is this, is if you are seriously thinking about harming yourself, you have no clue how many people in this world need you. People that you don't even know. There's people that come into my work that sometimes it can get routine. Hey, how are you? You know, you do your spiel, they do their spiel, and then they're gone. Sometimes there are people that come in though that God put me there and they put them there at the same time so that we could help one another. Maybe I have someone who comes in and they're scared about a procedure they're having, and I've had that same procedure. So I can talk to them and I can explain it in detail to them, and I can tell them what it feels like. I can tell them that I know what you're feeling. You're scared, you're nervous. Here's what to expect. Here's how long it's going to take to get the results. Here's what here's the things that to look for, to know about. I can explain to them, I can understand what they're going through. But if I had taken my life, I wouldn't be there to do that. Same situation for you. Maybe it's when you look at someone and you actually make eye contact with them and you give them a genuine smile, even though you're crushed on the inside. That's what it takes for that person to see that they were seen that day and to keep going. Because you chose to wait and you gave it more time and you saved another life. I feel like we think that we have to be superheroes every day to make a difference in this world. That is not true. Little things that we do day in and day out make a difference. We have chickens. We have a lot of chickens because I refused to kill the 3 roosters. So we had to get more hens so that everybody was happy back there. We have an abundance of eggs. It blesses Nick and I to be able to give those eggs away to people. Now, if people want to pay us for them, that's fine, but we don't charge people for those eggs. It blesses us to be able to do that. Had I not been here, I never would have had chickens to give people eggs when prices of food are astronomical and they can get a dozen for free. Or 2 dozen, however many their family needs. We have dozens of eggs every week. So to be able to bless somebody in that way, I would have never been able to have a garden 2 years ago with an abundance of food that we gave away to people in need, being God's hands and feet, being a blessing for them. I would have never been able to pray, which is extremely hard for me to pray in a group out loud or to pray one-on-one for somebody to initiate that. But there's been times over this past few years that God has initiated me to stop with someone and pray, and that's out of my comfort zone, but it's God led and it's me, spirit filled, and Him listening. And prayed with somebody who's very scared about something. It's been talking to somebody that I know is going through what I've went through and letting them know that they're not alone, that you're heard, you're understood, you're loved. And while I can't take the pain away, there's times that you guys reach out and you're telling me things that you're going through, and with every ounce of me, I wish I could take it on myself so that you weren't having to struggle and you weren't going through what you're going through. It crushes me when I see that you guys are hurting. It hurts. I love you guys and I don't want you to have that. And if I could take your burden and put it on me so that you could go on and be happy, I would. But I know that my words aren't going to help. Knowing that I understand and that I've been there and that I'm still going, that I'm still waiting, and that I'm running for God is what I hope helps. And knowing that I'm not someone who's dealt with this for a week. It's been 27 and a half years and then 30 years with depression, with anxiety. I hope that helps. I hope that seeing that you can overcome this, you can still have a good quality of life, even if God chooses not to lift whatever mental illness you have. You can still have a good quality of life. I try to respond to all of those comments with what I feel God wants me to respond with, knowing that deep down that it's got to be Him that reaches you for that to matter, because words are words. You know, actions mean a lot, but you know, we're in different countries, different states, different towns, different whatever, and so I'm limited of what I can do. But I hope that my words, that something that God has led me to say helps, because that's His anointing touching you when it does. Friends, you're loved. I don't just end every video that way just because it's a way that I decided to end it. That was God-given, Holy Spirit filled to end every video that way. You are loved. Even if you believe that you don't make a difference to anybody else on this earth, you make a difference to God. That's why He created you. That's why He created me. For whatever reason, He still has us here. Sometimes we don't know. We don't understand. Why are we still here? What's the reasoning? Sometimes we don't get the answers, but we know that God loves us. I can read off a list of things that can potentially help you to overcome depression and anxiety. You have to get it you have to dig deep. And you have to fight when you're too exhausted to fight. You have to keep going when you're past exhaustion. You have to decide that it's going to suck both ways. It's going to suck to continue going in the downward spiral that you're in, and it's going to suck to get out of it. But you have two different outcomes. One that is the pit of despair that leaves you where you're at, but only worse. And one is running back straight to the light, running back straight to God, running back straight to better days. Maybe it's that you see a rainbow driving down the road that makes you smile. Maybe it's a circumstance that happened that if you weren't here, you would have never seen or encountered. Maybe it's a circumstance or something that happens that you have no idea that you were going to be needed for, but God already had decided that He was going to have you do whatever that is. We have to keep moving forward. It's not easy. I'm not telling you something that I think is easy. It isn't. When I say that we need you here, I mean that with every ounce of me. Whether you see that or not, whether I believe that about Chrissy or whether you believe that about yourself, we need you here. We need me here, even when I don't see it. We need you here, even when you don't see it. I hope that you feel that. I hope that something inside of your heart resonates with that you're needed, that you're loved, that we need you here, that life isn't the same without you. No matter what you've done in your past, no matter how much you've screwed things up, no matter how much you've hurt or how much you've done. We've talked about Paul, who was Saul, who persecuted Christians, and look at what he became. You're not too far gone. You're not too far gone. People might have given up on you, your family, some of your family might have given up on you, some of your friends, your employer, whoever, but God hasn't. God hasn't given up on you, and I haven't either. Please don't give up on me. It's not always easy. There's those 2 weeks of struggling hard were not easy to continue to make videos and come on here. But I don't ever want to be non-transparent. It was hard for me to admit that after that time period, I had a 2-week period of really, really struggling. But it was only 2 weeks, and I came through it, and now we're here today talking. What you do makes a difference. It makes a difference every single day. Friends, those of you that reach out, and even those of you that are too scared to reach out in the chat and talk about what's going on in your life, friends, I love you. Truly, if I could take what you're going through on myself, I would. If I could take what a couple of our best friends are going through and just put it on myself, I would. If I could take what some of my family is going through and put it on myself, I would. That's not what God has chosen, but what I can do is be there, is listen, is pray, is offer support, do anything that I can to help make the situation better. That's what we need you for too. You're needed. Friends, I end every video this way. It is always my heart and my hope that you feel this last part. And I've encouraged you multiple times, skip to the end of the video and just hear this. And that is, God loves you. I love you. Your friends, your family love you. And we need you here. We'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.